It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost with me, Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. But on the show, there is a lot of flutter in India and its neighbour, Pakistan. Pakistan's cricket team is split wide open. Rift in the dressing room is what has resulted in a shambolic year. That's what the core team have arrived at. What else came out of the connection camp that PCB organised a couple of days ago? Over in India, victorious chess prodigies return home. Is this the landmark moment that India has experienced in chess? Will this do to the growth of chess what the 1983 World Cup win did for cricket in the country? And Manu Bhaker, trained to shoot bullseye, hits back at trolls now. What was the row about and what has unleashed the 22-year-old's double Olympic medalist fury? But first, let's take a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, England fought back to win the third ODI against Australia. Australia posted 304 runs in the first innings. England won by 46 runs via DLS after rain stopped play. Captain Harry Brooks starred with a blistering century. Australia lead the 5-match series 2-1. The demand for the India versus Australia Boxing Day Test match tickets have hit an unreal high. Ticket sales have seen a significant rise, 5 times of the 2018-2019 series. 4% of ticket buyers are from India, which is again 5 times more than what was witnessed at the 2018-19 Border Gavaskar series. The Women's T20 World Cup in Dubai will witness an all-female panel of match officials. The panel consists of 10 umpires and 3 match referees. Claire Polasak is the most experienced of the lot, as the 2024 World Cup will be her 5th. The tournament will take place from the 3rd of October to the 20th. Over in football, European football governing body UEFA has stripped Milan of its hosting rights of the 2027 Champions League final at the San Siro Stadium. UEFA has said that the city couldn't guarantee that the stadium would not be affected by refurbishment work. UEFA has now opened a bidding process, a new one, to search for a fresh venue. Over in tennis, Croatia's Marin Cilic became the lowest ranked ATP Tour winner after success at the Hangzhou Open. 777th ranked Cilic beat 41st ranked Zhang Zhizhen in straight sets. This was the Croat's first ATP title win since 2021, where he won the St. Petersburg Open. After this win, Cilic jumped more than 500 places and is now ranked 212th. What's the toughest part about a wound or a healing wound? The ripping off of the bandage. It hurts the most. With that, the worst is over. So you can then check on the wound and the extent to which it has healed and figure the plan of action thereon. That's what's happened at the connection camp, the famous connection camp, which was PCB's brain wave, to try and wake up the sport from its slumber in Pakistan. PCB and Mohsin Naqvi believe that Pakistan cricket needs a massive shake-up. And for that, the ripping of the band-aid has to happen, which it did, with key players in the meeting breaking the silence on the rift in the dressing room, the lack of unity that players had among themselves. It was a day-long session where top officials and key stakeholders of the sport met behind closed doors to figure what was wrong with Pakistan cricket and find a way forward from it. Shan Masood, Babar Azam, the 2 captains of the different formats, Jason Gillespie and Gary Kasparov, the 2 coaches who've been roped in just some months ago, were all present, along with some senior members, some senior players in the setup. The last 12 months or so have been one of the worst phases in Pakistan cricket. They failed miserably at the ODI World Cup. That was late last year. They crashed out of the T20 World Cup just some months ago this year, losing to USA in the group stages. And recently, in Test cricket too, They crumbled to a humiliating whitewash against Bangladesh at home in front of their fans. Collectively, it's been a big mess. What the core seems to have arrived at as the cause to this horrific turn of events for a cricketing country like Pakistan is the lack of unity and spirit in that dressing room.
The session was about this, that we openly and candidly accept and identify and ask for a commitment from each other, demand it on how we can improve our performances and how we work together as a team. Our unanimous view was that we need to resolve this going forward and need to identify how we do it.
It's a good place to start. I'm talking of acceptance, of course, accepting the flaw, the self-critique, looking in and seeing that this is exactly what's wrong. That's a great place to start. But that was not the only discord that was addressed and discussed. The general disharmony between players and the management was also put out in the open. There's been friction between the two key components that are essential in the way sport is run. Many episodes come to mind. The former PCB chief trying to sabotage Babar Azam's reign as skipper in that leaked audio clip. PCB refusing in fact to sign NOCs for some of their key players to play in foreign leagues when there's no national duty. The shuffling and reshuffling of captains over the last many months resulting in further souring of the relationships in that dressing room. PCB acknowledged that this too was discussed. The coaches, Gillespie and Kirsten, for whom this is a very new experience, said that the one thing they realized through that day was that there is a lot of pride that this bunch has in representing their country and hoping to inspire others to do better. None of that has unfortunately translated in that results column that's so important and critical for any country to evolve, go forward. The main act of the ripping off of the band-aid is to see what is next. There seems to be no solution, at least so far. Not any that was spoken about in the plan of action. But the first step seems to have been taken. Let's see whether the realization translates into some real-time action. Only admission does nothing. What is the way forward is what we'll have to see. Right, India scripted history over the weekend by winning double gold medals at the Chess Olympiad. It's been just a few days since India scripted this incredible chapter. And the Indian contingent have been busy ever since. The team arrived in batches after their triumph in Budapest, and what a warm reception the champions received. Just some beautiful pictures there. The craze to catch glimpses of these stars was unlike ever seen before. From D Gukesh to the brother-sister duo of Vaishali and Praggnanandhaa, and of course Captain Srinath Narayan in there too, the grandmasters were welcomed with a lot of enthusiasm. And there seems to be a bit of a pattern here. With every success in the sport, the buzz around chess only has been increasing in India. After every victory, we've seen more number of people getting to know more about these faces, at least wanting to know more, and many more gathering at airports to welcome them back home. When Praggnanandhaa finished as runners-up at the World Cup, and earlier this year when D Gukesh won the candidates tournament, each win has drawn more eyeballs than the one before. Here's the difference. While back then it was just about individual achievements, individual glory, This time it was about India shining as a nation and the country dominating the rest of the world in the sport. And as expected, the reception was bound to be bigger because the success wasn't an easy one to come. Around 190 nations competing for those gold medals in the men's and women's categories, only for India to take that away. The tournament featured chess giants like America, China, Uzbekistan, to name a few. This was no mean achievement. It's nothing short of a World Cup win or a gold at the Olympics. No wonder some of the biggest names in chess, like world number 2, Hikaru Nakamura, chess legend Gary Kasparov, and former world champion Susan Polgar, are calling India a chess giant. The highlight there in those bunch of comments has to be that of Polgar's. She stated that this Indian team is going to dominate for many years to come, and this is just the beginning, which may be true in so many ways, because it's not just about the dominance of these athletes that they've displayed so far. Age is on their side. The Indian men's team at the Chess Olympiad had 2 teenagers in Gukesh and Praggnanandhaa. We know what they're capable of. Arjun Erigesi is in his early 20s. But the team did have some experienced campaigners too in Vidit Gujrati and Harikrishna Pentala. Over to the women's team, India had Divya Deshmukh as the lone teenager and was one of the strongest. Vantika Agarwal and Vaishali Rameshbabu are in their early 20s, and then they are guided by 2 seasoned players in Harika Dronavalli and Tanya Sachdev. Now, unlike other sports where age becomes a bit of a barrier after a certain point of time, chess players have a bit of a luxury. They do not need to retire as early, though of course age does take a toll, but that's still a while away for this bunch. All the more reason to call this phase as the golden generation, the golden period for chess in India.
Golden era तो बोल सकते हैं कि gold तो आ गया है और we are winning with huge margins. So everybody was saying that we are one of the favorites, although USA was the top seed. But a lot of people were expecting a great performance from us. But I don't think they expected this level of performance. I think iske baad there'll be, I think things will change. A lot of people will get into sport, jo youngsters hai, because it acts as a motivation.
Yes, Vidit and the rest of the youngsters have indeed placed India high up there when it comes to chess, and it all started with Vishwanathan Anand being the lone poster boy, the lone ranger. There weren't many who could really match him and the accolades he earned. Now India has more than 85 grandmasters. India has 4 players ranked in the top 15 in the men's category. Arjun Erigesi, D Gukesh, Anand of course, and Praggnanandhaa. And 4 in the women's top 15 rankings as well. That includes Koneru Hampi, D Harika, Vaishali and Divya. The sport is on the rise in the country. The impact that this victory is bound to generate is far more deep-rooted, far more than what is apparent. The win will inspire many budding athletes to take up the sport. It'll motivate parents to encourage their kids to chase their dreams of becoming grandmasters, take up chess and become champions. And the list of role models to look up to is only increasing by the month. And not just that, the latest triumph will contribute commercially too, just the way cricket grew in India after the 1983 World Cup triumph.
This is a 1983 moment for Indian chess. 1983 started the commercial revolution for Indian cricket. The rise of India as chess's engine is already clear.
The 1983 World Cup was a seminal moment for cricket in India. Post that triumph, India started establishing itself as a dominant force in the sport. It led to commercial gains. More players started taking up the sport. Now India is the richest cricket board in the world. And just the way the 83 World Cup win paved the road ahead for men's cricket team to evolve and grow, the Chess Olympiad here, this win, will prove to be the cornerstone to the growth of both men's and women's chess in the country. leading to more support for chess and a proper infrastructure and procedural structure in place, removing one of the biggest barriers that Gukesh, for example, had to experience before his candidate's win earlier this year.
A few years back, we also had a lot of financial problems, and it was even hard to travel for tournaments. But yeah, my parents made sure that it didn't affect me, and they took all the burden of it and pulled through. So I'm yeah, I can never really repay them for what they have.
With the popularity of chess on the rise, many budding players will not have to go through that financial hurdle that Gukesh and his family experienced. The stage seems to be set now for the big showdown later this year, when D Gukesh will take on Ding Liren over in Singapore. A win there will completely change the face of chess in the country. The sport will never be the same again. The Paris Olympics may have turned out to be a rather disappointing campaign for India. A medal count of 6 when the country was gunning for double digits. They even failed to surpass their Tokyo Olympics medal tally. But amid the disappointment, the tournament also saw a new star emerge in Manu Bhaker. The female shooter alone bagged 1/3 of India's medals. Bronze in both the 10-meter female air pistol event and the mixed team event. She also became the first Indian athlete to win multiple medals at a single edition of the Olympic Games. Quite a historic achievement. But despite this significant feat, what did Manu get in return? Trolls. The Olympic medalist has finally broken her silence. She hit back at the troll army. But before we get to Bhaker's fiery response, let me tell you what opened the floodgates. The Olympic Games established Manu Bhaker's brand. Given her popularity, sponsorship deals started pouring in. Since then, Bhaker has been getting invited to many events across the country, and quite obviously, Bhaker has been carrying her medals along with her to these events. And while the shooter saw this as a way to use her achievements to inspire others, she was trolled for carrying these very same bronze medals everywhere. Bhaker did not react for a while. Why would an Olympian need to clarify anything? Until some days ago at an event.
I will. Yeah, why will I not? Everyone has this feeling to show the medal, which is why I carry it, in case someone wants to see it. They even make a request, saying, please bring your medal along. And when I do bring it, several pictures get snapped at these events.
The trolling did not stop. She probably had enough of it, because she hit back at the trolls on her social media platform X, unleashing her fury at the trolls just some hours ago. Here's the thing, when Manu Bhaker won the medal, it wasn't just about her glory. The shooter was representing her country. She took pride in it. India and every Indian was proud of what she achieved. So as much as the success, of course, belongs to Bhaker, it gets credited to the country. And that is why Bhaker is taking her medals everywhere to make everyone else feel a part of the win, a part of her success story that she stitched on her own. Bhaker has always believed that success is a collective effort.
Heroes are not, created just like that. I mean, it takes a long time to be able to become one, to be able to make a person like a champion. So, and in that journey, I would say that it's not just one person or just an athlete that wins, but the entire nation.
She rightly points out, heroes aren't made just like that. They aren't groomed and built overnight. It takes years of training, struggles, overcoming failures, and a lot of dedication. So forget being an Olympic medalist. Being an Olympian alone is hard work. So Bhaker has every right to celebrate that win, soak it in. Because before that double bronze at the Paris Games, Bhaker suffered a massive heartbreak at Tokyo. a tournament that saw her miss a medal due to her gun malfunctioning. So her celebration isn't just about the Paris Games, it's about coming back after failure. A failure that would have rankled and bothered anyone. Now, Bhaker doesn't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. In fact, she doesn't really need to carry these medals to public events either. She'll continue to be an Olympic medalist irrespective of this, something many have forgotten to realize.
Time teaches one so many things. So it's the time, and definitely my coach, Jaspal sir, he has taught me to be patient and to let go of things as soon as possible, because people forget things in no time. So
maybe the troll army has forgotten that she is the first Indian female shooter to win an Olympic medal, who is making shooting popular once again in India, inspiring many to believe that impossible is possible. Though she doesn't need to hit back at all. This is just her way of saying she's hit the bullseye, and anyone trolling her to proudly showing off her achievements have missed the mark by a mile. Time for last serve. The Prime Minister of India, of course, has been meeting all the medal winners and all Olympians. PM Narendra Modi also took a chance to welcome and felicitate the Chess Olympiad winners at his home in a special ceremony. Take a look. Quite a fun moment there. My favorite being the laugh he shared with Praggnanandhaa, otherwise looks so serious and put together and calm. But that does it here on First Sports. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.